and he falls down all by himself, perfectly landing.
Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, wow. My microphone came back on.
Hola.
Yeah. Dan, I tried to fix that tonight, but for some reason, my video editor will not recognize any video file that I have.
What are you using for a video editor?
Microsoft, whatever comes with Windows.
Okay. Hey, Bill.
Oh, when did Bill slip in?
Just now.
I'm late. I was in the most grueling online auction I've ever been in. Trying to get, well, I did get some vintage Matchbox, the Matchbox Lesney vehicles in the original boxes from the 60s. And God, I think everybody and their grandmother and their cat was bidding against me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I tried, I recorded a couple little small videos today, edited them out, everything went great. Then all of a sudden, it just decided to not recognize any other video file.
Try DaVinci Resolve.
Is it free?
There are paid versions of it, but yes,
Okay, DaVinci.
there's parts of it that you can use completely free, and there are a fair amount of people out there who are just using the free version.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
there are plenty of YouTube videos on how to use the free version.
Okay, Rich, if you would just message me the name of that.
Sure.
Oh, hey, thank you, Facebook. It reminded me to start my video at 9 o'clock.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Get
it's
right
just
on
now-
that.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
we're still 10 minutes earlier than Christian Basil does the traveling TARDIS show.
Yeah.
He starts running the background music and everything right on time, but then they never seem to get the show live until like 15, 20 minutes after the hour.
I was trying to find something that we could talk about tonight, so I was scanning the news reports. And I'm going to read the first paragraph of this news article. And I want to see how many of you can tell me what is wrong with this news article. Thelma and Louise star Susan Sarandon arrested in New York, age 76. Okay. Susan Sarandon ended up in handcuffs earlier this week after being arrested for protesting in the New York State Capitol in Albany. According to reports, the Alien star was taking part in a protest against a new law that excluded tipped restaurant workers from benefiting from the same minimum wage increase as their non-tipped counterparts.
There's a couple of things there, but I think whoever wrote the article looked up the wrong person on IMDb.
Boy, did they.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Susan Sarandon was not in Alien. Okay.
Now, when I was still in my teens and maybe early 20s, well, no, it was in my teens because in my early 20s I was involved in Rocky, so I was able to separate Susan Sarandon and Sigourney Weaver. But in my teens, I had a hard time remembering which one was who, and
I've
You know,
never heard Sigourney Weaver sing.
No. Actually,
I
she
will-
did it on Dave.
she
played the
did
first lady and had to
some
sing.
Torch Singers thing in something too.
Oh, okay.
I knew that Susan Sarandon was in. She played Brooke Shields' mom. What was it? Pretty Baby.
Pretty Baby.
Came out in
Yes.
Came out in the 70s.
And
Watch
Rocky
the-
Horror Picture
watch
Show.
the unedited-
How could they not put Rocky Horror Picture Show down on her resume? I mean, seriously.
Fabulous Baker Boys? That was okay. Now Michelle Pfeiffer was the one squirming on the piano during Fabulous Baker Boys. I don't remember any other woman after seeing that scene.
Is it Bull Durham?
Bull Durham, yes.
How did she? I mean, all those great movies she was in, and of course they got Thelma and Louise right. But
Luckily.
I'm trying to figure out who they confused her for. Did they confuse her for Sigourney Weaver, or did they confuse her for
Nancy Cartwright?
Veronica Cartwright? Thank you.
Oh, Veronica.
Yeah, nothing on that one.
Yes, folks, this is the kind of trivia we talk about at conventions.
Really, I mean, movie fans know this stuff. Whoever wrote the article, just you're going to see this more and more because they're starting to let AI write news articles. And I would be willing to bet
Hey, Mac.
that somebody took a picture of Susan Sarandon, put it in AI real quick, and said, "Hey, tell me what she did." And they said, "Oh, that's that lady in Alien."
Ugh. Okay.
Max says he's just popping in for a minute. He's moving from the middle of, or in the middle of moving from Atlanta to Savannah.
Cool.
And actually, right before the show, we were watching the Savannah Bananas play.
I've seen a national news headline about them. That looks like that would be fun to go to one of their games.
Hey, it was one of the best games that I've seen in a long time. Looks like John was in such a hurry to get here, he forgot to open his beer.
And I guess the tickets for those games, people are waiting a long time to get tickets.
I don't know. It sells out. This is their 2000th sellout, consecutive sellout. So that's a good thing.
Mhm.
But the way they play is it's a timed game, 2 hours, and you don't win by scoring the most points. You score by winning the most innings, or you win by winning the most innings.
Whoever scores the most in an inning wins.
Yeah, they
Wins
made
that
up their own
inning.
rules.
Yeah.
It's not baseball rules.
Yep. And my niece will be down there in Savannah in that art college for, I don't know if she graduates this year or next year. And
Well, it looks like we got
then,
hey, looks like I got a place to stay if I want to go see the Savannah Bananas. Max, just 5 minutes from the park.
Oh, Savannah. You get to go out to Tybee Island on the weekends.
Oh, and
I
their cheerleading squad was performing at the 7th inning stretch. They call themselves the Savannah Nanas. I thought you had to be 50 to be on the cheerleading squad. No,
I
you have to be at least 65.
oh wow. So would you compare the Savannah Bananas to, say, like the Harlem Globetrotters?
No.
Mhm.
So they don't play that well, or they're just for show?
No,
it's real
they
hard
play.
to dribble a softball.
Yeah.
I bet Meadowlark Lemon could.
Serious ball. It's just, uh, when the umpire does a dance on a strikeout, it's a little odd. Oh, Max says he's 10 minutes from River Street and 25 minutes from Tybee Island.
Prime locale.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, why does my brain do that to me? I cannot.
Because it thinks it's fun.
And Rich, thank you for that link.
All right, no problem.
Oh, did everything work out with the download?
I haven't down. Oh, from you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I checked a few of the songs. Yeah, they all
Okay.
started. I didn't listen all the way through.
But you should have gotten the full thing.
I did.
Okay. But that turned out to be the easiest way.
Yeah.
So it turns out that Bandcamp has some convoluted rules. They're working on stuff, but there are a lot of things you think you should be able to do, but they won't let you. So
Oh, they won't let you give away a free download?
Yes, but you have to buy codes for 100.
Ah.
They won't let you do just 5 or 10.
Well, dang. I guess the
God,
show's
time
almost
warp.
over,
Dog's here
everybody.
already. Is it? It's almost the end of the show.
No, I'm just using you guys as a test right now. See
I
what's
love
going
being
on
a guinea
because
pig.
I can't for some reason stay in StreamYard on a stream for more than a couple minutes without my phone timing out.
Well, we are in the
Being a
middle.
guinea pig
Well,
is
near a solar storm here coming up, so I doubt that's got anything to do with it. But
We
Go
are going to
work.
have a solar. I mean, is it? Are you being serious, Dan? We are going to have a solar storm.
it's what I read on the news aggregator today when I switched over to science instead of what was the thing that they did with the famous politician. Because I got tired of that because it was
Bye.
just blowing up the news feed. Hey,
Would you like
Josh.
me to read the news story?
Oh, if it's about the solar storm, yes.
A powerful solar storm is due to hit Earth on Wednesday, sparking beautiful auroras. Here's how to see them. And it goes on.
Move to Norway.
Am I
Now,
locked up?
the good news is
No, but you're
we
sideways.
are on the side of the planet that will not be incinerated. So,
Ah.
on the bright side, there's going to be a lot of construction job openings in Asia.
On the bright side, yes.
I'll be back later. I'm going to do some more troubleshooting. Thanks, Joe Dog, for letting me use your stream to figure out my problems.
No problem.
Now, if we can just use his stream to figure out Joe's problems.
I want to use this stream to go fishing.
Hey, whoa, you guy.
What?
What?
Joe's doing his impersonation of Grandpa Simpson.
No, he's doing his impersonation of somebody who just realized there's a copyright strike coming up in 3 seconds.
Oh, and for anybody that's going to consider doing YouTube, like making a YouTube video, do not put in any Eagles music.
Why would I?
Don Henley, I saw an interview with Don Henley. He has a team of 65 people that watch videos all day just to hear if there's an Eagles song playing in it.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't. He's just saying that so people could use his music without paying him money.
Well, he testified in Congress for that.
Anybody cheap enough to worry about somebody using their music like that is too cheap to hire 65 people doing a damn thing.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you want to save money, Don? Fire those 65 people, dumbass.
Rick Beto did a video about it. He got a song taken down, or a video taken down. Copyright strike.
That's one reason why the people that do the music reaction videos have to stop and talk about what they're watching and then go back to the video.
They have to make it transformative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Because then it becomes fair use.
I've been seeing something lately that people have been doing is they'll put like 30 seconds of noise at the beginning of their video. And it says, this is put here to try and avoid copyright strikes. If you want to see the rest of the video, fast forward 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then the video starts. And then right at the end of the video, you'll see that again. This is the tail end of the video. And we've put this blank spot in here to avoid copyright strikes.
I'm not sure that's going to keep working for very long.
No, it's not. Beto used 8 seconds of an Eagle song. He says, I'm not even going to say the name of the song.
8 seconds is still within fair use, though.
Yeah. No. Henley pulled it.
10 seconds is fair use.
Yep.
Now the thing is, a lot of people they don't want to go through. They don't have the funds to go to court to fight it, but they don't realize that a lot of times, people who are going to try this stuff isn't going to take it there because they don't want to.
They don't want the strike against them for losing.
Well, they don't want to pay the lawyers to not lose the thing, so that's why they don't take it. So yeah, it's fair use gets it really stupid and tricky.
Mac, $500,000. If he really has 65 people on the payroll, let's say they're only getting 25,000 a year.
Nope. If I was going to be forced to watch people's videos in search of a Don Henley song, you're going to have to pay me $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
And
no,
you're only going to get an 8-hour week.
That would be 1.625 million.
Yeah, well,
Almost $2 million. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
and come to think of it, if it weren't for YouTube in the 90s and not MTV in the 90s and YouTube now, I probably wouldn't even remember who Don Henley was.
I do, just because one of the first cassette tapes that I got from my Columbia House Records and Tapes, 13
That's
cents.
not a good sign, John.
Was the heavy metal soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
And Don Henley did All of You. Not sexually or anything. That was the name of the song that was on the album.
And you know, really I don't even remember what that song sounds like. I don't even remember what that song sounds like, and I've seen heavy metal
it's
3 or
real
4
slow.
times.
It's
I
the one they
imagine
play.
so.
Which song is it, John? What's the name?
All of You.
Oh no, I don't.
And they play it during when the dope smokers or the drug snorters are flying the spaceship.
Okay.
I'm always looking for videos for new cartoons for the Every Day is Saturday Facebook group.
This is not a children's cartoon.
I know.
Bill, you cannot show heavy metal on your channel.
No, I know.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Once.
But that's not what I'm going to say. Get back. Sit down. Go.
I mean, it
no,
would be
I know.
fun.
I saw heavy metal. I saw heavy metal in the theaters. I saw American pop in the theaters, and but I recently watched The Iron Giant for the first time since I saw it in the theater. I forgot how great that is, but
you went heavy metal, which is kind of would you say mine in the gutter animation. Okay. Then you mentioned American pop, which is also sort of mine in the gutter.
But it's like a level up.
Barely. And then you went with Iron Giant, which is
Iron Giant.
Well, Iron Giant, heavy metal, iron.
Yeah, it's a heavy metal.
Hey,
and what was it? John Cusack or whatever was the junkyard guy who made all the junkyard sculpture.
And Vin Diesel was the robot.
Vin Diesel was the robot, and trying to think of who the kid's mom is.
Now I'm going to have to look that up.
And if the metal was American made, then you got American pop. But,
yeah. I used to think it was Lonnie Anderson, and it's not.
No,
but it's
wait a minute.
Holly Hunter?
No,
it was Jennifer Aniston
Jennifer Aniston.
And
Thank
you know what? The guy that was in the junkyard was Harry Connick Jr.
Oh, Harry Connick Jr. Okay, I'm sorry.
Cloris Leachman
But
was in there too.
Really?
It's just it's a wonderful, wonderful one. But what I started to say, I'll do a Bill Cosby on you. I told you that story to tell you this story. But when I'm looking for cartoons to put in the Everyday is Saturday group, which of course are all G-rated, far as you know, I get so irritated the way people will try to take a cartoon, especially something like a Disney one, in order to not get it pulled down. They'll cut like the first 3 minutes of it, or well, probably not that much, but the first 30 seconds to a minute and a half, or they'll speed up the audio. And I mean, Donald Duck doesn't have a high enough voice in it. I mean, and Mickey Mouse, when they speed up the audio on his voice, it's like a dog whistle, like you can't even hear him anymore. It's so high. And
So they get a copyright strike from Davidsville and Chipmunks.
no, they apparently they don't care about those people, because it's like that's a crappy video. Nobody's going to watch it. And obviously, I don't put those kind on there. Now, I do find plenty of Disney put on there, believe it or not. No movies. Once upon a time, when I first joined the group, before I took it over, the guy who started the group had a lot of the Disney movies on there, and I'm like, this group's going to shut down really quick, and it never did.
You're wrong. Dirty Laundry is a song that is still contemporary today, but you forgot Get Over It.
No, he's saying should redo Dirty Laundry because it's so much more relevant now than it was even back then.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, and I posted the testimony up on Stupid O'Clock page. I mean, just type in your on YouTube, Don Henley copyright, and it's like oh. Well,
I think I managed to hit 95% of the bugs in the Northwest Indiana area. I'm gonna have to scrape my windshield tomorrow.
Fire hose. You've got friends in high places.
No.
Sure, I do know the fire chief.
Oh, we were coming home the other day. Just washed the car, had the car looking nice and pretty.
And there's
and
your
we were
mistake
coming around
right
by Chickamauga Dam, John, and all of a sudden you could start hearing on the windshield. Donna goes, "Is it raining?" I said, "Bugs." We were hitting so many bugs at the same time. It sounded like rain on the windshield.
Yeah, Mississippi, driving from North Mississippi down toward Biloxi. Love bug season. I've known people that had so many bugs on their car, they just set fire to the car and claimed insurance.
Well, I don't know about setting fire to the car, but, bugs flying around on the roadway is the third reason that I think that cars ought to come with flamethrowers. Second reason is Atlanta traffic.
Dare I ask the first reason?
It'd be fun. Somebody got their bright lights on coming at you. Dragon breath, right? You want light? We can show you some light. Gonna have to have that one repainted, Joe.
But a buddy of a friend of mine bought a couple of military surplus aircraft landing lights. And had them in the front of his car where some people would have spotlights or the floodlights.
Fog lights.
Yeah. And when people were coming at him with their high beams on, he flipped them. He had to quit doing it, though, because it burnt some of the paint off of his car. I almost pulled that same. I had a friend of mine told me that story, and I almost pulled the same trick because Red Bank Army Store used to have some old DC-3 landing lights, and they had these big. They came with these big motors with a transformer built into it, and when the landing gear came down, the landing gear door opened. These lights would pop out next to the landing gear and then come on. And I'm like, that has interesting possibilities.
My dad, when he worked at Heister, Christmas time, used to get a lot of gifts from truck drivers because he didn't treat the truck drivers like how a lot of places did. And one year, this one driver came and came into my dad's office and handed this big box. And he says, "Here, Merry Christmas." And Dad says, "What is this?" And he opened them up and he looked at them, and there's these big round lights about this big around. And my dad says, "What are these, fog lights?" And he says, "Well, I figured you could use them for." Dad had a 76 Mercury Marquis that had a police interceptor in it that he actually got at a police auction. And anyway, he said, the truck driver said, "Yeah, you could use them for your Mercury." He said, "But put them behind the grill." And he says, "Well, I was going to mount them on the bumper." He says, "Put them behind the grill." And he says, "And you can rig up a toggle switch or whatever, turn them on or off or however you want to do it." And Dad said, "Well, I don't think I'll be able to see them too well behind the grill." And he said, "Yeah, you will. They're light." Well, he said airplane landing lights. I think they were like marker lights. But so Dad mounted them behind the grill of the Mercury, and he rigged up a toggle switch on the steering column. And when you flip those things on, it was daylight in front of you. Absolutely daylight.
I got a couple of Army surplus lights from it's either a Jeep or a large truck, but they came with red filters for IR gear. And I have never wired them up, but I imagine with the forward-facing camera that I've got that does register infrared, it would be like
it's
very
like
sunny
driving with your
day.
headlights on. And what's cool is the military stuff was a standard headlight. They just added the red filter.
The red filter.
Glass. You had I won't say it was armored glass, but you had a protective glass in front of the headlight, protect you from rocks, shrapnel, and stuff. But they basically pulled that out and put the infrared lens in it, but they seal them at the factory so you don't get water and stuff in them. And here's the fun part: they have high beam settings.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have not installed these. I have examined the wiring, and I'm going,
well, now
I'd have to put another alternator on the van just to run these.
It's a 24-volt system.
Oh, okay, yeah, definitely.
So before I have to pop out, because I'm just about home here, one of my mom's friends, when she was growing up, had a set of lights, similar to that on his vehicle. But he also had a second switch hooked up. The second switch was hooked up to his reverse lights. So that way, when somebody was tailgating him and they got, they were still behind him at a stoplight, he'd flip the switch as soon as the light turned green and gun it. I think he was about to come back at them because his tires were screaming, but he ended up going forward.
My best friend, year or two out of high school, had a pimped out Buick. I don't remember what flavor, but I mean, the guy he bought it from had zebra striped headliner, little dingle balls, lights on the inside, lights around the cutout and the hood, but it also had a toggle switch so that your reverse lights would come on normally if you put it in reverse. Actually, put it in reverse. It was on the floor. But you could also just flip that light or flip that switch at any point in time to automatically turn the reverse lights on. The number of people that would immediately stop tailgating him when he flipped that on, even doing 60 down the highway. People right on his ass, he'd flip that switch, all of a sudden they're way back here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still going forward.
I had a very, very cruel idea that thankfully I was able to refrain from implementing.
Well, that's no fun.
But I was on the annual staff as a photographer in high school. And I was introduced to some of the world's most powerful camera flashes. Now, imagine somebody tailgating you on a back road in a rural community, and you pop them with 2 or 3 in a wired up in series. Deluxe New York Times standard camera flash through the rear windshield.
Oh.
That would cause some wrecks right there, just from the searing of their retinas. So I decided not to do it, but I did work on the wiring diagram.
That would cause them to see what we did to Japan in World War II. But folks,
that's just low down and dirty.
Oh, that's the back of the truck painted like the front. Yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah.
That's low down and dirty if you have a passenger
now
who is sleeping, and then you wake them up and go, ah!
One of my favorite prank videos is the guy who's coming up behind a semi towing other semis. So he gets right behind him and, looks over at his sleeping wife and, they're coming right for us. And then she wakes up. Speaking of something of that vein, so Misty and I hadn't even been married a year yet because we were still in our first apartment together. So Misty, being 5'1", me being 6'4", she went into the bathroom, and I just walked to the bathroom door and scrunched down so I would have been eye to eye with her when she came out, and waited the entire time she was in there. And as soon as she opened the door, she danced in place and slammed the door 6 times because she'd slammed it so hard that it popped back open before it had a chance to latch.
Young man, you are very lucky to still be among the living.
Oh,
Now that semi
amateur.
that you showed a minute ago that had the front painted on the back, Were the taillights strategically placed over the headlights? I didn't notice.
No, they were in
They
the
just
normal
had them painted
place.
on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now, when we used to road trip with the kids, we'd run to my sister's in Birmingham or just get in the car and drive. One night we were coming home. We were in, I think it was Fort Payne, Alabama. Stopped at a convenience store. Donna, the kids were passed out. So I circle around behind the back of the building, come pulling up into the parking spot, and at the last minute, as I hit the little curb thing, I slammed the brakes and screamed, "Ah!" They all jumped up.
Carl, it's not dawn again. It's nighttime.
Gentlemen and Dawn, I will see you all another time.
All right, Joe. Thanks for
Alrighty.
dropping in.
Hey, Joe,
See you,
by
Joe.
chance,
Yeah.
will
You need
is
that
there any
QR
other?
code.
Well, that and this is not working. I don't know why I can't be streaming on StreamYard for longer than 5 minutes before everything shuts down. So that's still
Crap,
doing
my
that.
headset's
Until I
bugged
get
out.
that figured out, I can't do any
Go into your settings. This is a phone or a tablet?
phone.
Phone. All right, go into your
Thanks, guys.
settings. Let's see. These settings are an Android, so Richie, you may have to help me here. It should be settings, Pride display, and then there should be something for timing out the screen, and you can set that to never.
But I don't want to not do it never, just during.
It'd be a temporary fix until either Rich or I can figure out a permanent solution.
It's either the system and the timeout to keep you from wasting battery power, or it's under energy saving settings.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
that's
the same
another
thing.
one.
Ooh, energy sending. I'll check there. Thank you guys. It's just this sucks because it was working fine. I think Calvin did something to my phone while I was at Donna and Carl's last weekend. It was
Well,
Calvin.
that's what you get for letting a cat play with your phone.
So, okay, energy saving. I will check that next.
It's
Okay,
either
I'll
under
be back.
it's either under system for timeout or it's under system energy saving. One of them others.
Okay. Energy saving.
All right.
That's my next check. Okay, I'll be back. Thanks, Joe. And Rich, you just got, I guess, elected to help with this.
Oh,
So we'll
Rich,
see you guys later.
Yep.
Toodles.
Bye-bye, Don.
Bye.
I used to use my phone the first couple times I got
Lost
on,
John.
and I know I had mine set
No?
for, I think,
Sure.
30-minute
Okay.
timeout.
Yeah, but that was when we were doing 6-hour shows.
No, I don't know. Well, I did it the one time we were up in Chicago on an overnight. I remember because I was panning around the room and I accidentally showed part of The Dark Knight Returns.
And
Joe
here we
freaked
circle
out.
back
Don't
around
do
to
that.
copyright strike.
Yeah.
Hello, Curie. Oh.
Oh, so do all of you know who Al Hirschfeld is? The cartoonist who, well, he's not around anymore, but he did all the celebrity caricatures. You would see his stuff a lot on it. Okay. So I was at Salt and Light the other day, which is like a version of Goodwill or Habitat. And I got this t-shirt. I don't know if you can see it. It's Al Hirschfeld's The Beatles.
Uh-huh.
And got it for $2.
Didn't he used to work for the New Yorker magazine?
Yes,
I do believe so,
very
yes.
much. And speaking of t-shirts, this is the other one I got. I paid more than $2 for that. And that's
I would
yeah,
too.
she's wearing her Dr. X. That's that from that famous photo. No, that I bought off of eBay and paid considerably bit more.
Oh, John, I just saw your Star Trek post at Stupid O'Clock. Do you know who that guy is?
Which guy?
I read
The
I read
psychopathic tests.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I do know who that guy is.
Do you know what else he's famous for?
No, not really.
That's Chucky.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't have got a better guy to play that role on Voyager.
One of his first movie roles was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He played one of the cuckoos. Of course, David Lynch's Dune. He played.
Right. Wait a minute. What's his name again? What's the actor's name?
Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif.
Oh, Brad. Oh, okay. Now, who did he play in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
One of the cuckoos.
Well, I know that, but I mean, was it the short dude or
the one played by Brad Dourif? Yeah.
Oh, that one. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hi, Facebook user. Let's go ahead and get that rolling. We don't know who you are because it just won't let us. You either got to tell us who you are or go to that website there, facebook.com/Facebook, and grant permission to show us your name.
He played Billy in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, that was the younger one.
Yes.
Yeah,
he would have been young then.
He was like a real skinny, if I'm thinking correctly, like a red-haired kid that
skinny.
Yeah, he didn't talk much.
No.
He was very introverted.
Strangely enough, I was just looking at I'm on IMDb looking at One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And about half the people that were in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest were in Star Trek. Louise Fletcher was in Deep Space Nine. Let's see.
All right, I'll be back in just a minute.
Yeah, you do that.
I'm going to have to turn the mic off for sure now because my mic can be pick up in the kitchen.
Oh. Christopher Lloyd. Of course, Brad Dourif. Louise Fletcher. I'd have to go through and find some of the other ones.
Trying to think of the guy who played the big Indian that pulled up the fountain, the water fountain.
He's famous. I can never remember. Because he was also in Poltergeist. Darn it, they don't have his name. Or they don't have his picture next to his name, so I'm not sure who he is. Because they called him Chief, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what Nicholson called him, but
yeah, of it. Yeah, Will Sampson.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and he played Chief Bromden. Strange enough, I think he was in Star Trek too. I have to look that one up.
Probably he might have played a Klingon.
No, I think he played an Indian. Strangely enough, there was a whole episode with a planet full of Indians.
What was the Klingon's name that what's his name played it in the movie?
What's his name? What's his name?
From One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd, yeah.
He played
Was it Kang?
No.
Or no, not Kang. Wait a minute.
Krug or something like that.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, all their names started with a K.
no, just ones from certain planets. Star Trek. What was that called? Search for Spock. Spock. Let me see. Well, you think his name would be closer to the top, huh? Christopher Kruge. I was right. Kruge. Kruge.
Krug or Krug. Krugy. Krug. The G is silent.
Rug. The K is silent. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What was his name in Taxi again? Jim, wasn't it?
Yeah, Reverend.
Okay.
Jim. It's Reverend Jim to you, you Philistine. Did Rich lock up? Oh no, I saw his eyes blink. Okay, he's just staring at something on his computer.
It's just his brain locked up.
No, it's going 90 miles a minute.
And no, I'm not going to go see Mr. Right.
Reverend Jim Ignatowski.
Yes, we are. There is a science fiction convention in town, and strangely enough, Jonathan Frakes is going to be there. In theory, okay.
Yeah, and I hear he's a really nice person. I mean, to all the Star Trek weirdos, he's really he's very personable.
He is a Star Trek weirdo, which is the best kind.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is the people coming up and doing this to him and everything else, and when he has nothing to do with this, but trying to think of what I saw. They had a reunion of Next Generation cast on a YouTube video that I watched that was from, I think, the late 90s, early 2000s or whatever. And he just seemed really nice.
They actually made some directors quit. I mean, the director's actually called Rick Berman and says, "Get them under control or I'm gone." And Rick Berman said, "See ya."
Oh, the only one I ever really wanted to meet was Deanna Troi. I had a major crush on that siren.
Actually, I wanted to meet Major Barrett Roddenberry. That was one of my bucket list things. Well, needless to say.
I wanted to meet
Well,
Spot.
remember, John, it was about this time 35 years ago, they had this big thing at the Trade Center, the Trekathon or something. Had all the old original cast. Major Barrett was there talked about the new Star Trek series coming out.
No, I do not remember that. But I was probably in Germany when it happened. So. Because I came back on leave when Star Trek Next Generation came out. So.
Yeah, it was put on by WDSI.
I've got so many Star Trek story ideas in my head that I actually hate going to conventions and meeting Star Trek people because you screwed that up. You know,
Just walk around with a folder that says Galaxy Quest 2 and ask them if they want to be in a movie.
what was it?
Of course, you
Galaxy
might
Quest
have to,
hell.
you might actually have to wear a suit and tie to get them to believe it for a second. But
Well,
I had an idea.
Jonathan Frakes and Patrick Stewart actually, Patrick Stewart did a stint on Orville, and Jonathan Frakes directed a few episodes.
They need to have a crossover.
Do what?
They need to have a crossover where, like, Orville is a Dark Mirror universe of Star Trek.
Did you not notice the new Enterprise coming out of Space Dock? It looked like had the Orville type
Excuse me.
ship. You know, still had the nacelles, didn't have the wraparound nacelles, but it had the sweepy tunnels between.
That would be funny. What the hell are you doing in our universe? Well, we're flying around the sun at high warp speed.
oh Lord,
Hot Toys coming out with Rocket and Cosmo 6-scale figures. Oh my God. And because it comes from Hot Toys, it'll come with 15 million different accessories, and usually it's so many different sets of hands. I guess now it'll be different sets of paws, or maybe tails.
One of the toy companies has just put the kibosh on resale collectibles. Action figures. They're now coming in a sealed box with no picture of the toy inside. It's a picture of the toy inside. There's no clear plastic on it.
For what reason?
Being environmentally sound because it's on cardboard. There's no plastic.
But they're making the toy out of plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's no
PVC and ABS and rubber and everything else.
they're
Well,
just
there's no-
recycling dinosaurs.
Well, instead of having the what they refer to as the cello windows, which is made out of cellophane, or the plastics on the bevel blister packs, instead of having a plastic blister pack, make it out of glass and say, there you go, it's recyclable.
No, even better. Sell them in mason jars.
Yeah.
I can see a company doing that and claiming that they're sealed in argon, so they will never oxidize.
That's for you, Rich.
I wasn't thinking anything dirty, so
Yes, you are. We saw you.
When he starts sinking down from here to here, you know something's going on.
No, what I was thinking is that my family growing up would have bought me all the toys just so we'd have a complete drinking glass set.
Yep.
Got to
Hey,
see my
now there's-
cupboard, Rich.
There's a great idea: is sell them in mason jars and then like paint the outside of the mason jar with the figure, so that's like a collectible glass from Hardee's or something like that.
Ooh.
Well, remember all the jelly jars that had Tom and Jerry and the Archies and all them on it? You got and it wasn't very big. They were teeny tiny jelly jars. They even did peanuts for a while in the 80s. I got a few of them, but
Used to get.
no, I got all the.
We had the Coca-Cola glasses, and you put them in the dishwasher, and the paint would oxidize. And we had the American Bicentennial glasses that you put them in the dishwasher, and they would oxidize. And then we had the Star Wars glasses that you'd put them in the dishwasher, and they'd oxidize. So
We stole a complete set of Coca-Cola glasses from Denny's back in the mid 90s, and a couple of pitchers.
I had quite a collection of Guinness glasses when I was stationed in Berlin, because I used to go down to the Irish pub and take my camera bag with me, order a Guinness, drink it, wipe it out. It'd wind up in the camera bag and it'd follow me home.
My neighbor has an 8-place setting from Waffle House.
That must have been one hell of a doggy bag.
Boy, everybody's running slow tonight. Is that me?
Yeah, no, it's just there's something going on with the internet tonight.
I keep checking.
I've heard nothing but complaints all for the last 2 days about the internet. So.
Had a friend that smuggled out 3 orange juice carafes from Shoney's in one night.
Well, it was always a regular thing around here that when you went to the A&W root beer stand and you drove up, that they might have came out to your tray with your food and 4 root beer glasses, and then when they're done, give them back through their tray. A couple of those glasses may be missing. And
you gave them back the tray? Those are rookie
give them back the tray.
Those are
my brother would always say, he'd say, oh, another lady came by and she said that they needed the glasses to clean them right away. So she took the glasses, but we told them we weren't done with the food. And I'm like, and they bought that?
My stepdad still has one of the window speakers from the Red Bank Drive-In Theater. They were closing the theater anyway, and it's just like, you know what, they don't need this damn thing. Like, click. And he was an electrician, so he had a pair of wire cutters in the car, so it was like, they don't need this anyway. Clip, thump, and drove off.
Well, by the time the Red Bank closed, they were broadcasting through the FM
radios. Yeah. Which time? Because they kept trying to reopen that damn thing.
Now it's a failed food line.
Yeah,
and Advanced Auto Parts.
That drives me nuts.
It's still better than the Murder Kroger.
How do you screw up a food line? I mean, how do you not, sell food?
Well,
it's not like pet insurance where nobody really wants it, or something like that. It's food.
Well, Food Line, their main reason moving into the Chattanooga market was to run a grocery chain out of business. At one time,
it kind of backfired.
No, it worked. It
Oh, okay.
did work. At one time, Food Line over in North Carolina was known as Food Town. And there was a company here in town called Pruitt's Food Town. They sued Food Line over the copyright name or the trademark name. So to save money, they only replaced 2 letters in their name to Food Line.
Uh-oh.
Hey, speaking of such, did you hear the story about Katy Perry? I think it was Katy, or let's see, female singer. I may be mixing them up. Apparently, there's a woman in England that had some sort of business, and she shared the same name as either Katy Perry or whoever, or Mariah Carey or Harry Carey or whoever it was.
Famous singer.
And they, long story short, the woman was taken to court, but she actually won the case and got to keep the name because it was her name to begin with anyway. And apparently she went into business before the singer
Made it.
Was popular or whatever.
Well, okay, I don't know about trademark overseas or anywhere else, but here in America, if your last name is McDonald, you can open a restaurant called McDonald's. You just have to make sure that you're thematically different enough from McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
And truth be told, you really should have McDonald's something or something McDonald's as your name to give you a little bit more wiggle room. But McDonald's can't sue you for the McDonald's in the restaurant's name if your name is McDonald.
So
Now-
Norm McDonald could have opened a restaurant.
Yes. Now, I can't open a restaurant called McDonald's because, well, my last name's not McDonald's.
Now,
Like-
here's the question. Let's say you wanted to open a McDonald's that specialized in Roman fare, Roman food. So you had a picture of a big golden aqueduct on your sign, a Roman aqueduct with arches all over it.
John, you have entirely too much free time.
You're probably getting into a very
Because there's that one famous the aqua something, I can't remember. It's one of the aqueducts going into Rome, and it's still there. And it's got like
Still
big
works.
arches near the bottom, and then an aqueduct, and then smaller arches above that, and another aqueduct, and then even smaller aqueduct or arches at the top, and another small aqueduct at the top of it. And it's a very famous tourist attraction. But if you had a picture of that in gold as your sign,
well, when you said Roman fare, I was wondering, like, are we going to include a vomitarium?
I'm going to create a cartoon character called Aqueduct.
aqueduct.
No,
Aren't
what
they
you
all?
guys have been talking about McDonald's
Thank you,
is
Donna.
putting
I
to
was
mind
just
of
trying to
what John Amos's McDonald's from Coming to America.
I was just trying to remember that, the
Mhm.
details. Yeah. Now, since that restaurant actually won the court case, the chain Burger King cannot open one of their restaurants within a certain number of miles of that one original little Burger King mom and pop store.
I think it's 15 to 20 miles, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. I think they were just so upset that that they lost the case. They stopped thinking clearly for a while and hired the wooden guy with the crown to be their mascot.
That thing's just creepy.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
Yeah, people tell you Ronald McDonald is creepy.
The original one was.
Well, yeah, but
McDonald was kind of cool.
yeah,
when
but
I was
now
a kid, because-
he is a well beloved weatherman, or used to be, for the Today Show.
Because one of the things I liked about McDonald's was they had that little cast iron pipe playground out front.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
You had what was it? What was it? The hamburger cop. I can never remember his name.
Hamburger.
No,
Hamburglar.
Hamburger was the one he was chasing.
Big
Yeah.
You
Mac.
had Mayor McCheese, which
Mayor
was a cheeseburger.
Mayor McCheese
And then you had a
and
Big Mac was the
police
cop.
officer that was a hamburger.
Can you
And then
guys
you
Big
had a
hear me?
hamburger that was trying to steal all the
Big
hamburgers.
Mac's a different chain.
Yes, I hear you. I hear you, Don.
Okay. I hate
And then, let's see, what was
It's
it?
kind of hard to get a word in edgewise.
Grimace, of course. And then,
Right, guys.
Yeah,
so what were some of
the
other
big
ones?
purple.
Thingy.
Shake.
yeah, he drank the milkshakes all the time.
He was a
Grimace.
shake.
Oh,
I'm sure
No.
that was part of the rationale. Yes. Yes.
Wait, so if
the
Grimace
big-
was always drinking a milkshake and he is a shake, does that mean Grimace is a cannibal?
I don't think he was a
I think we
milkshake.
all know what Grimace actually is.
No, in the actual lore, when you look at things, Grimace is described as the shake.
Rich,
Uh,
this is why I'm laughing because on a WTOR, one of my friends, Paul, his theme is the Grimace.
now, John, you were talking about the playground.
Mhm.
There was a show on the History Channel. The guys out in Vegas that restores stuff like that. And he had the whole collection of the playground. He just didn't have the jail.
Hmm.
And he found it and had the guy out there in California or Los Angeles, Las Vegas, restore it for him. And, they showed it all that. And then they showed a picture of his whole collection in his yard. McDonald's sued him.
Huh.
Because all of those were supposed to have been destroyed.
The jail guy was Officer Big Mac.
That's what.
So, okay. I didn't know whether Big Mac was. I knew he was a Big Mac, but I didn't know if it was in
And
his
then you
name.
had Captain Crook.
Yeah,
Let's see.
the
The
fish.
professor. Do you remember him?
Yep.
Okay.
He came later. Him and Birdie, and that's when that was kind of when they jumped the shark, so to speak,
you remember
because they
the,
used to be really cute commercials.
Do you remember the Fry Guys?
Yep,
Yeah.
they were cool.
And then, of course, Birdie the Early Bird when they started doing breakfast. And then they had the kid thing, which was the Happy Meal gang. Uncle McGrimacy, who was Grimace's uncle. Cosmic.
Yeah.
He was some sort of space alien.
What are you shaking your head for, Dan?
Y'all got entirely too much free time.
The McNugget Buddies, which were the little,
Dan,
Those-
what
those
is the
were
name
creepy
of this
as hell.
show? What is the premise of this show?
John remembers his childhood,
Now, wait a minute.
and Bill tries to sell him the toys that he lost.
How can
Oh,
McDonald's?
God. I'll be back.
See, if he'd gone to McDonald's,
Now that was a McGrimace if I ever saw one.
if he had gone to McDonald's instead of Taco Bell, he wouldn't be making those faces.
No, there'd be an entirely different face involved.
Wait a minute. How can you say that that is my childhood when it's McDonald's? Billions and billions served. That was everybody's childhood.
Okay.
I know.
Be
I
evil?
know.
No, I'd be dead with a heart attack if I keep going to McDonald's. So that's why I quit. Actually, Greg brought me a McChicken sandwich last night, and it made me sick, physically sick.
I
McDonald's.
Oh
stopped
yeah, yesterday
going.
was Free McChicken Day.
Do what?
Yesterday was Free McChicken Day.
Well, that explains it.
I
If you have
stopped
the app,
going
you
when
can get it,
they
you can get it for
replaced
free.
the people at the counter with kiosks in
I
order
have
to have
not-
to pay them a living wage.
I have not been to a McDonald's in so long that it's just ridiculous how long ago.
Well,
But
it's a
I do miss
shame.
the rate.
It's
I
a
do miss
shame
the
I had
regular-
to stop too because I was just beginning to get the free senior coffees. I mean, seriously,
I think
free
it's been about
coffee? That's a big plus for me.
I want to say it's been
Um,
about 7 years since I've been to McDonald's.
It's been about 7 years since I've been.
So Grimace's uncle came around for the Shamrock Shake, which is why he was oh grimacy.
And the Shamrock Shake does not taste like it did when it first came out. They have
No,
changed.
they changed that in late '80s, early '90s.
They stopped
Yeah.
using real shamrocks.
But apparently, Grimace used to be an evil character
Yes.
with 2 sets of arms to steal shakes, and then in '73, which explains why I only know the kind, gentler Grimace. They dropped 1 set of arms, redesigned his face to be more friendly, and made him into the lovable dumbass.
Typecasting.
Now, Popeye's chicken sandwich and Bojangles chicken sandwich.
Oh,
Speaking of chicken sandwich, did you see Wendy's discontinued a bunch of their chicken stuff?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
Really?
they don't have the grilled chicken. You can get the grilled chicken in a wrap, cut up in a wrap, but you can't get a grilled chicken sandwich anymore. Dumb.
Which
they're just
is
trying to
weird.
they're just trying
'Cause
to keep you from finding out it ain't chicken, it's possum.
Wait a minute. Those aren't grill marks. Those are tire marks. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's like that one steakhouse here in Athens. Everybody kept complaining, and it was just exactly like an old joke from the Tonight Show. The steak still had marks where the jockey was whipping it.
Did you know that at the turn of the century, back around 1916, 1925, that time, you could actually go to the butcher shop and get horse meat?
Did that?
That was an American staple for a very long time. And then the automobile came out. People quit breeding horses for livestock and such like that. And they started making it into glue factories and dog food.
Well,
Yep.
at the turn of into the 20th century, the rich people had cars and the poor people rode horses. Today, the rich people have horses and the poor people drive cars.
And there's always that poetry that goes along with the Kentucky Derby.
You mean Amish NASCAR?
Roses are red, violets are blue. Horses that lose are made into glue.
as soon as you went roses are red, I knew where it was going.
it is older
Here
than
come-
me.
Here comes another copyright strike.
I thought you were dropped your head because of what I said. Kentucky Derby? Yeah, Amish NASCAR.
I did drop my head for that too.
But it's accurate.
Yeah.
No, if it were accurate, there'd be buggies involved.
You mean they're not? Why watch it then?
Oh, that'd be harness racing.
Yeah.
Harness
Okay.
racing would be Amish NASCAR.
Hey,
Yeah.
no offense, NASCAR has to have a tire change. Okay, I'm just saying.
Have any of y'all ever seen that video of the guy driving down the road with it was just about dark, and it's got the dash cam. All of a sudden, this Amish buggy comes out of the corner, And he's drifting.
Yeah, he's drifting the buggy.
Sparks just flying off the wheels.
That's because they got iron rims for tires. Yep.
Oh, and have you seen the body cam video?
Amish body cam videos? No, I've never seen.
No, it was a police had stopped an Amish buggy, and the guy's passed out in the seat, drunk.
Yeah. The horse knows the way home.
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, the horse stops at stop signs and every horse knows his way home.
Yeah.
So did
Good
Chubb and Dick.
grief. I mean, seriously.
There are stories of Amish men waking up in the morning at the barn, the horse just standing there at the barn door.
When
I ain't got no hands, dude. You're going to have to open it for me.
When I was
Barn
as a
to
child,
be
I remember one of
wild.
the stories from my grandmother was that it was before cars and storm up in Minnesota, and they were with all the family, and my great grandpa told Chubb and Dick, which were the names of the horses, to go home, and they went home, and they all just went back in the carriage or whatever they were in, and they made it home. Yes, the horses' names were Chubb and Dick.
Okay. No problem.
Apparently, my great grandfather had a sense of humor.
From that
now,
from that 1970s movie Bob and Carol and Tub and Dick.
When I was younger, I'm pretty sure when I was working ungodly hours and going to school and all that, my car knew the way home because I would be like, last time I remember I was 30 miles and 3 S-curves that way, and I'm in my driveway.
Uh-huh.
How the hell did I get here?
That scares the shit out of me when that happens.
I do the same thing going to work some days. I know the alarm clock went off. I got up, went to the bathroom, got dressed, brushed my hair, put my hat and my glasses on, got my wallet, went out and got in the car. Next thing I know, I'm in the parking lot at work. I could not tell you how many cars passed me or how many cars I passed. But
and this was before my drinking days too.
Oh, it's got nothing to do with drinking. It's got to do with being
tired as all hell.
Being a night owl and still had the alarm clock goes off at 6 in the morning, no matter what time I went to bed. Now, if I had been drinking, I don't think that the car would have accurately known the way home or to work, whatever the case may be.
Well, one day
we were talking about horses. I wanted to say one thing. If there's anybody that really, really loves draft horses, the old farm horses, please do yourself a favor and watch the Jethro Tull video for the song Heavy Horses. There are some of the most beautiful Clydesdales and Percherons in there. I mean, seriously. And they are working horses.
Sarah, I do too. His name's Dan.
I'm not going to shoot the alarm clock. I'm just not going to turn it on anymore. Unless I'm at HallowCon's.
Oh, there is one thing you want to set your alarm clock for Saturday night. Me TV. Guess what's going to be on Sven Gulli?
What?
Rich Goes.
You gave it away. Okay. The Ghost and Mr. Chicken.
Oh, okay. I was at a complete loss there for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, although I didn't like that one as much as I liked Mr. Limpet.
I liked that when I was a lot younger, and then that's one of those movies that later on I thought, oh, they kind of drug a little bit or whatever. That's like,
Lost its magic.
well, when the Reluctant Astronaut first came out, I wasn't so cracked up about it. Because of what was going on in there. But then later on, years later, when I would rewatch it on WGN out of Chicago or whoever was showing it, then I picked up on all the little things in the movie, like the Don Knotts' mother, the character, the lady who played his mother in the movie, always bought every single item that she saw the commercial for. And when the commercial for, say, a tube of toothpaste would come up, she'd run in and grab it and come back in there and
show it to the TV.
Show it to, I had it on the TV tray and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was those little things that intrigued me later.
What was the Soupy Sales movie where he was a janitor at a rocket base, and somehow or another, no matter how stupid he behaved, he managed to save the entire rocket launch by using a vacuum cleaner at the right time or something like that? I don't know.
Well, that reminds me of Gilligan in Space.
Well, yeah, but that was a cartoon.
Far Out Space Nuts.
Yeah, that was okay. Yeah,
Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who I should know, but who starred with him in that? Was that Chuck McCann?
I don't have the faintest idea. The only one I remember from the entire movie is Soupy Sales, because at the time I was watching him in the afternoon on TV. Him and Officer Don with the Popeye cartoons and
the Pied Piper of Astroworld. The Pied Piper of Astroworld.
I haven't the faintest idea. He was just he was a janitor at a rocket launch facility. That's all I remember. And somehow or another, no matter how much he clowned around, he wound up saving the day.
See, I don't remember him from now. I remember the Soupy Sales show when I was really young, and for whatever reason, I love Soupy Sales, but whenever he get ready that he would get hit in the face with the pie,
with the pies,
the shaving cream pie, how it looked dripping down off of his face afterwards scared the bejeebers out of me. I don't know if I thought his face was melting or what it was, but I would run out of the room. And then I would holler, and Mom or Dad would say, "Okay, Billy, it's okay to come back in now," because he had done wiped it off, or they would gone to a commercial or whatever.
Okay, so where I'm at with everything is I went ahead and I logged on to my wonky old tablet that has old, and I did my timeout screen on that for 30 minutes, and now I've been okay on that. So I don't know if there was an update. There was a full Android update that just completely I don't know, because my tablet, the wonky tablet, did the same thing the phone did.
Well, after you had left the last time, I was telling John and Joe and them that when I first started coming on here, I always used my phone, and I always had a 30-minute timeout set on that, and we were definitely on for a lot longer than 30 minutes, probably 30 days, but and it would never go, it would always be okay as long as there was Wi-Fi.
While it's doing something like playing back a movie, now music not so much, but while the screen is active, usually playing movies or you're actually interacting with it, in theory it shouldn't time out.
In theory,
if you're on an Android, Under display is where my settings for length of time for the timeout is set.
Hmm. And that's where I changed it now on the wonky tablet, and it's been fine. But up until Saturday night, I never had this issue with it.
Well, maybe it was. Maybe it did go through some update.
Yeah, I had a Windows update today on the desktop computer, and evidently it was an update for Windows 11 or something. And this one's too old to run Windows 11. So it went all the way through the update and then go, oops, excuse me, we're going to delete all that stuff. We'll talk to you later. By the way, don't turn your computer off now or you'll never be able to turn it back on again. You got to wait 30 minutes for us to erase all this stuff.
So I have a tech geek question for you all, since we're talking about this sort of stuff. Here lately, I've had some issues. My Galaxy smartwatch that I have has the step counter and everything else on there. It takes your heart rate and your temperature and gives you a colonoscopy while you're at it and everything else. But
I'd be afraid to have one of them watches. I don't want anybody to know what my heart rate is from minute to minute.
well, the thing is, I try on the weather permitting days, try to get in 7,000 steps in. That's what I have the step counter on this set for. And about the last 3 days, for whatever reason, I'll get up to so many steps, not while I'm out walking, but just kind of running errands and doing this and that. I'll get up to about maybe 3,500 to 4,000 steps. Then all of a sudden, the counter resets itself back to 0. It's usually only supposed to do that when it strikes midnight. And then because it's a new day then, and everything's set back to 0 on the counter and all that.
How old's the watch? How good is the charge on the watch? And are you recharging the watch a lot more recently or a lot more frequently than you used to?
No, this watch, and I bought this as refurbished about 3 years ago, and it's been wonderful, Rich. This watch off of the charger will hold a charge for 4 days.
Okay.
Before it goes down really bad. I got a cradle over there next to the bed, and I put that on the cradle charger every night. Usually, when I'm putting it on the cradle charger, it's about 86 to 88% charge left on it still. And I wouldn't think that you would have to let it go down really, really low before putting it on there. I'm thinking it was something else. First, I thought it was a connection or something with the Samsung Galaxy Wear app on my phone, and I was checking everything on there, which it looks fine. And then I had some issues with the storage on my phone, having like 80% of my storage used up because I take too many damn pictures.
Okay,
and
you're recharging your watch at 86% nightly.
Yes.
You might be wearing the battery out.
Well,
Yeah.
and I've always done that. I've checked. I've actually Googled from Samsung itself, and they say that you can do it. It's not like
yeah, but they're who you have to buy the new batteries from.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is it's not like a nickel cadmium battery to where you're supposed to drain it all the way down before you charge it. Otherwise, you start losing permanent charge.
You don't need to wait till it's drained all the way, but you should wait until it's probably around the 40% range before you start to charge it back up.
I was going to say
Especially
30,
if
but
you're
you're
doing,
probably right.
especially if you're
But-
doing it like an overnight charge. I would go closer to 30 to 20, personally, because the thing with the way that the battery is charged nowadays is it'll charge up to 100% and then it'll turn itself off. But the second it sees that it dips back below that 100%, it's going to start charging back up, and that will wear the battery out.
Yep.
Well, the thing about it is that when this is happening, when it resets itself, it's like still 90 some percent charge on it. It's not like it's dropped down so low.
Right, but just because it says it's 90% doesn't mean it's realistically 90% if you keep overcharging it like that. That charge becomes relative. It thinks that its charge is a certain window and you're at that 90% mark, but it might, because the battery's been wore down so much, it might be below. Now, I'm not saying that is what the case is. I'm saying that is often what it can be with watches, phones, other devices that are rechargeable, is that we're recharging them too much, too often.
Yep, I've run into that with laptops when battery's gotten way low. Turn it on, wind up forgetting to turn it off until the next day. It doesn't take too many of those times before the battery no longer lasts anywhere near what it should. And you're having to call or having to look up the manufacturer to get a new battery. And for a laptop, that ain't cheap. And nowadays it's kind of hard to replace them because they're only about as thick as a piece of paper, and it's not like it's got obvious places where you can take it apart and put a new battery in it.
Yeah, they've gone internal with a lot of batteries, which I'm of mixed feelings about that, because it makes it harder for something to accidentally kick the button for the battery to drop out, and you're somewhere and you try to put a battery. It eliminates that. But if the battery does have an issue, if you're not someone who is inclined or feels like going through the pain in the ass that is sometimes opening some of these bastards, because let me tell you, I've got 11 screws, and then I've got to run a spatula all around
to pop the clips. Yep.
To pop the clips. Yeah, exactly. And then I can go in and start mucking with stuff. I've had to change out the fan on one of the fans on Misty's and one of the fans on mine. Now they only sell the fans in 2 pieces, so I'm full when the other fan goes out. Because there's a fan on the GPU and there's a fan on the CPU in mine. So I'm fine when that happens. If the other, once the other one decides to go out.
Yep. I've got one. It's a laptop, but it was called a netbook. It's that old, and that was one where I would have an outlet strip with several things charging. And the netbook was one of those, even if it didn't need it, which was my mistake. So it would charge along with everything else. And so before too long, the battery charge would not last very long at all. And you would have to be running the thing off the battery, the charger all the time if you wanted to stay on, essentially. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And you could get replacement batteries, but after a couple of years, one of the cooling fans started going out, and I took it to a shop, and they go, "They don't make this fan anymore. We can't fix it."
I had a laptop that the battery went so dead on it. Only way I could get it to work was to plug it up and take the battery out.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the battery on my smartwatch, and it's at 89% right now. And it says I have 3 days, 1 hour, and 15 minutes of battery life remaining.
Well,
And
don't put it on the charger till Saturday then.
Yeah.
Now, here's another thing: are there any other apps or anything that's on the smartwatch that you might be able to tell if the smartwatch had, for some reason, had a sudden restart of itself?
That's a good question.
Because if your smartwatch rebooted, that might be why it's doing that.
No, the only thing I did, and this is after the fact, this afternoon, like I said, I had some storage issues on my Motorola. I have a Moto. It's a Moto E phone and Android, and I got a 32 gigabyte or whatever card to put in there to store photos and stuff on there to free up some space. And originally I thought that had something to do with this acting up with resetting the step counter. And actually too, because I use the phone a lot when I'm listing on eBay, I use the eBay mobile app a lot, more so than I do on my tablet, because it's just easier to navigate, basically, for me. And every time I was going to upload pictures into a draft for a listing, it used to be I could, take 24 pictures, which is the maximum now that you're allowed to put in a listing for eBay, and they even let you do a video now too. And I would put all of them on there at one time, and they'd, go pop, 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 and all come up. And the last about almost the same amount of time as the problem that I'm having with the step counter resetting itself on my smartwatch, I'm having eBay only allowing me to load like 3 photos at a time into a draft. And if I tried to do more, say if I tried to load 5 photos, it would act like it's getting ready to load them and then go kadump, and it just all drop out. My draft would be saved, but I would have to, there would be no photos in it, and I would have to reload up the photos again and either do them one at a time, or like I say, 2 or 3 at a time was about the most I could do that they would still load. And I just went through a recent update with that mobile app, and I, wondering if that has something to do with that problem. But it's just funny that both problems kind of happened just about at the same time.
When's the last time you had a firmware update on your phone, and when's the last time you had a firmware update on your watch? That could also cause issues as well. Both on both sides of it, not updating it on a regular basis, or if there was a bug in a recent update that could have caused an issue as well.
Mm-hmm. Because updates sometimes include these extra special features called bugs.
Undocumented features.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it just did one recently. I'll have to look here. A second.
Don,
do
you have an everything bagel or a sprinkled donut hanging above your head?
Me? No, it's a wreath.
Okay.
Actually, I like the idea of an everything bagel person.
I
It looks
thought
like a
it
giant
looked like a
everything bagel,
thumbprint
doesn't it?
cookie.
I'm just wondering if she named it Franklin because it's Aretha.
No, actually, it was made for George. It was actually before George passed away. But what's funny is that since I'm using the wonky tablet, I don't have my thing set up for the tablet, my little platform that I use, so it keeps tipping back because somebody is giving themselves a battering moment. Not me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Joe Dog, I gotta
Like,
tell you,
please story.
middle of next month, the weekend of the 10th and the 11th, I probably will not be able to do even Stupid O'Clock or Last Man Standing. So please don't schedule Last Man that weekend. The Thursday I should be able to, but I will be out of town in a hotel with hotel Wi-Fi with the laptop. So it'd probably be picket fencing all over the place if I tried it.
Oh, okay.
Does Lindsay know about your hotel Wi-Fi?
I
No,
believe
Wi-Fi.
she's-
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, yes.
Five.
Lindsay's going with me. That's the only reason I'm going to remain sane, having spent an entire weekend with my family.
Yeah, well, I was just about in a
So
little
she'll get
panic
hotel
because
Wi-Fi.
I'm going to be gone a weekend in June myself.
It's like it's on you, Rich.
And maybe John too.
Hey, Rich, where is that on the phone, on an Android phone, where you check to see about updates? I'm for whatever reason, I can't find it in the settings.
Bear with me a moment.
I checked
Settings.
system.
Hidden.
Welcome to This Old Phone with Rich Asplund.
Timer.
Next time we get hammered.
Meanwhile, Bill's on his phone.
Yeah. No, John,
Oh,
this
he
is
got
how it is. Hello, Sarah. Sarah, can you get me Google, please?
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that too dashes, or is that too short rings, or was that too long rings?
Don't
Well,
laugh.
I'll go.
My mom used
I'll-
to have that app on her Apple phone where if you wanted to dial a number, you had to.
I have the old-fashioned ring on mine because everybody else has something goofy.
One ring.
No, I'll do you one even better than that. From Lum and Abner. Lum, I believe that's our ring. Why, yes, I believe it is. It's time for Lum and Abner.
I have my mom's and my dad's specific, and Ted's is specific. That's all. I had to do Sylvine's daddy's girl for my dad.
I actually remember party lines. They were
Thank you, Dan.
entertaining. Hello, Kiri.
Hi, Gary.
Gary, I still can't find this. Good grief.
All right, so Bill, if you go into settings,
Yeah.
and then under settings, if you go.
Somebody's buzzing. Is that the new Dodge Hornet?
I'm
If
glad we
it's a
all
Hornet, you better bet I'm going to dodge it. Yeah.
Someone's having a good time.
Yeah.
If you scroll all the way towards the bottom, there should be something that says software update.
That's the
And
green
then when
room.
you
I'm
click in
sorry,
software
where?
update, if you scroll to the bottom, you should see software update in the bottom section. Software update, help, remote support, about phone.
I see about phone, system, help, ratings and feedback, Google, digital well-being, accessibility, accounts, security, location, privacy, storage, sound, display, battery, apps, notifications, connected devices, network, and internet.
Well, if you got security, you ain't got no privacy.
Okay.
Somebody's watching you.
I think Carrie's having some audio issues. But that was just funny. We all looked at each other like, am I the only
Well,
one hearing that?
I looked up. I'm like, is that mine?
It's not mine. No.
With all the issues I've
What?
been having, I'm like, it's probably me.
Hold
So-
on a minute.
On
I
mine,
can't afford that many batteries.
I've got software update, so it's right by my finger
You
right
have to
there.
tilt your phone a bit. We couldn't see it for the glare from the light. So.
Let's see. And I've ran across it before, but I cannot. Okay, so network and internet, it's not under that.
But also, different phones run different flavors and will have different mock-ups of it. So,
Yeah.
and mine is past the date for needing to be refreshed. But yeah, mine has an actual spot that actually says software update, and it shows that was last checked on April 8th.
Seed.
Okay, is that better?
Much better.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We don't hear that.
Yeah.
But we don't hear that buzzing noise anymore.
Reseat a cable?
What the schnocks?
What?
So did you reseat a cable?
Not sure. I just had to hop over to another Linux distro.
How big is this Da Vinci file?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Well, I just tried to download it and it says failed, disk full.
Interesting.
See, I'm not the only one having technological issues this week.
Oh, come on. We are technological issues.
Yes, we are. We're usually the ones that end up causing them. And then we have to fix
Holy
it ourselves.
smockies. Something's going wrong.
I made it to my 30-minute mark. I had to time out.
Hey,
I've only got 7.7 megabytes left on a 240 gig hard drive.
Oh, that's not hard.
When you start
Okay,
talking
well.
terabytes, then you're talking.
What he said.
yeah, really.
But
I've got about
Help
50
desk.
terabytes here, and I still worry about running out of space.
I wanted to reach through the computer and slap the help desk today.
Oh, dear.
Ooh.
Again?
So they sent a ticket up to me. Well, to the team. And of course I'm the one that ended up getting it. And they're saying, the user is wanting to know if they're still able to click on the intranet to reserve slots for classes to be created. And I'm like, we've never had that feature. I mean, if they want us to create a class especially for them, they can contact us or they can contact the help desk and we'll talk about it and we'll hash something out, we'll figure something out, and we'll put a class on. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, it's... So we try to put out classes several times a year. We actually try to put out a couple classes a month that are live classes that people can join all over the firm. Like, maybe this month it's an Excel class or a PowerPoint class or whatever. And that's what they're wondering, if we were still putting on classes. And because of the rollout, that's kind of been put on hold. We'll still make brand new classes for folks, but we're just not putting out anything that's like a, firm-wide Excel class or something like that. Which, in fact, is the person wanted an Excel class, which, funny enough, the right person responded to the call that actually puts on the Excel classes. But yeah, because I'm just reading that ticket and I'm like, I have no idea what the hell they are trying to say. And then when I talk to the user's like, yeah, no, that's not what I'm looking for at all. What I'm looking for is this. Okay, yeah. We plan on putting classes on once the rollout finishes out, but while we're gearing up for the rollout and preparing and doing background testing and stuff like that, all that stuff's been kind of put on hold for just general generic classes because it takes too much time to plan a generic class that, is not too Fisher price for this person over here, but is Fisher price enough that this person over here is not going to sit there and go, oh,
I had something go on at work today that was highly unusual, but not.
Management did their job?
No. It was much more unusual than that. But I was about to go and take my last break for the day, and then go home. And the machine that I used to run for 20 years was not working. And I had no less than 3 executives walk up to me and go, hey, I know it's been a while since you ran this thing, but could you come up and take a look at it and tell us what's wrong? And I walked up and I watched what it was doing, and I said, okay, well, this thing's out of adjustment, and it's very, very tricky. If somebody tried to reset it too quickly, it goes haywire. Oh, and walked around the front of the machine. I go, because of that, this major problem just happened. Let me look, and I go and I look around at the machinery, and there was a big gear up at the top of the thing where big old chain goes up and down and up and down and up and down every time the machine opens up or closes. One of the gear teeth,
I'm up to date. Okay.
no longer looked like a wedge. It looked like a fish hook.
That's not good.
No.
Hey, guess what? Guess
It's
what?
that time.
It's that time, guys. We got to say goodnight, everybody. Thanks for popping in. Dawn, Bill, Rich, John, Terry, Daniel. You have fun tonight. Keep no more copyright strikes. All right. We'll talk to you later. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
I can't play the Beatles.
Bye.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.